I have to admit, for me at least, it's going to be hard to wave that American flag this weekend, to ooh and ah over fireworks, to celebrate independence, to celebrate what we call this land of the free. Land of the free. Land of the free, when a Korach in our midst plotted and planned to take away rights from half of the population. Land of the free, when an AR-15 has more rights than a person with a uterus. Land of the free in a country that was based on freedom of religious expression and a separation of church and state. And judges are legislating on certain religious beliefs which are actually totally different than the religious beliefs in our faith in Judaism. Land of the free. Land of people having fewer rights than they did half a century ago. We learned already this morning about Korach and Datan and Aviram and 250 elders in the community who were their followers, and we learned of their message. It wasn't a bad one. Kol ha'ida kulam kiddushim, they say. That the entire community should be treated as holy. Each person should be seen as sacred. A beautiful message, and so we're stuck trying to figure out how is it that he becomes the bad guy with this beautiful message. When he challenges Moses, and challenges Aaron, and challenges God. Because it turns out that he doesn't actually say what he means or means what he says. He's not interested in this idea of kol ha'ida kulam kiddushim, that everyone is holy, that everyone is separate. He actually wants to be separate. He wants to be in power. He's not troubled by the fact that Moses is in power, or Aaron. He's troubled by the fact that he is not, and is willing to do whatever necessary to make sure he gets into power, especially when that means taking power away from other people. He doesn't say what he means. He doesn't mean what he says. And so, we have a decision a week ago in which Roe v. Wade was overturned after almost half a century, taking the right away from half of our population to make healthcare decisions about their own body. And the judges that made that decision did so based on their own religious beliefs. And as I said earlier, we come from a faith in Judaism which permits, allows, at times even requires a pregnant person to have an abortion. And they make a decision based on their own minority religious beliefs in a country where we celebrate separation of church and state. They make a decision based on what they say is their own belief, except I'm not really sure they mean what they say or say what they mean, like Korach. Because you see, whether it's Gorsuch or Kavanaugh or Coney Barrett or Thomas or Alito, they made this decision based on their own religious belief where they say they're pro-life. Because they believe life begins at conception. Judaism is quite different. Judaism says life begins when a child takes their first breath. Not until that child is born. But they say that they are pro-life. But like Korach, I'm not sure they say what they mean. Because when one has an ectopic pregnancy, or septic uterus, or a miscarriage that doesn't naturally release from one's body, the only treatment is an abortion, or that mother dies. But they say that they are pro-life. And when they allow states to ban abortion in all situations, including rape or incest, and have no care for the psychological and mental well-being of the pregnant mother, they say they're pro-life. And we know that even before Roe became decision 49 years ago, women were having abortions. They were finding ways to have abortions. So all that this does is it no longer guarantees safe and affordable medical care. So they don't want to guarantee people safe and affordable medical care, but they say that they are pro-life. They are pro taking away people's rights. And we're supposed to wave our flags and sing "God Bless America" and grill our hot dogs. You know, you're supposed to wave a flag upside down when a country is in dire distress, when democracy is broken. Maybe that's what we need to do this year. When a Korach-esque coup takes place, when a minority of those make decisions about the majority, when people choose to make decisions about what other people can and cannot do with their bodies. Maybe that's how we wave that American flag this year. But we also refuse to wave a white flag, refuse to wave a flag that announces that we have given up and that we have given in and that we will be silent going forward. Because when we are in a fight for people's individual rights, we can't. You see, we learned already this morning that when Korach and his followers challenged Moses, there was this divine brawl that took place. And they wanted to see who would God side with as God's prophet. And the ground opened up and consumed Korach. But if that wasn't enough, there was a fire that broke out and the scorched earth consumed Korach's 250 followers. Can't sit around and wait for the earth to swallow up these backwards laws. Nachmanides, the Ramban, says that that fire was God's fury, not just towards Korach's followers, but towards all of the people of Israel, because they remained silent as Korach and his followers rose to power, or attempted to. And what made God so angry was the silence of the people. And so, we refuse to be silent. Because the only wildfire that is more fierce than the scorched earth that destroyed 250 of Korach's followers is the fury of an individual whose rights have been denied or taken away, and we refuse to be silent. So we're left wondering, what can we do? What can we do in the immediacy of this moment? There have been many who have volunteered, gone on social media, opened up their homes to people who are coming from out of state, to a state that permits people still to make healthcare decisions about their lives. They've even used coded language. If you're looking for a place to camp or hike, I have an extra bedroom. Well, the intention is good. It's ineffective and actually quite dangerous for strangers to open up their homes to strangers. So what can we do in this moment when we refrain and refuse to be silent? We begin in the immediacy by donating to make sure the money we give makes a difference. The National Council of Jewish Women launched the Jewish Fund for Abortion Access in partnership with the National Abortion Federation, and the money given to that fund goes directly to individuals who need to travel across state lines to access abortion care, goes directly to NAF-approved clinics to help people have the medical care that they need. We can canvass and phone bank for candidates who believe in a person's rights to make medical decisions about their own body. Because until Roe is codified as federal law, it's each state and the state houses, the governorships that make those decisions on a state-by-state basis. Just this past week, the Attorney General of Arizona decided to enact and follow a 1901 law that prohibits abortion entirely. 1901, 11 years before Arizona was a state. That is the law that they are following. We can volunteer locally to be clinic escorts, drivers, especially if and when those local abortion clinics become inundated with out-of-town and out-of-state patients looking for medical care. We can talk about the abortions that we have had or that our partner or loved ones have had to destigmatize abortions, because statistics show that 1 in 3 women in their lifetimes will have had an abortion. But we cannot be silent and wait for the earth to open up. Cannot be silent and wait for a wildfire to break out. We cannot wave a white flag because we refuse to let the Korachs among us rise up and come to power by taking away people's rights, by taking away power from other people. And as long as we speak up and stand up, then when we wave those stars and stripes and say that this is the land of the free, we will act and fight to make it so for everyone. And then that flag will actually be what it claims.